Hey everyone, Blobinati Cuber here. Today I will be explaining the Triforce method for solving a 4x4. So the Triforce method was invented by Trainguillaume for the method development competition in August of 2021. Alright, so the first step is to solve two opposite centers and a 1x2x4 block right there. So it's kind of like a roux block, but like one piece longer. Now there's three ways to do this. One of them is to solve the centers and then the block. The other is to solve the block and then the centers. And the other is like this intermediate technique where you solve the bottom center, then the block, then the top center. So theoretically the best way would be to solve the centers and then the block, but that would require a lot of planning and inspection. So I'm going to use the intermediate technique where I solve the bottom center first. So I guess I'll just be doing white here. So I can go like this, pair those up, bring those right down there, and that solves the bottom center. Then for the 1x2x4 block, I like to build these two centers first. So let's see, 1, 2, 3 moves to solve these little green bars, so I guess I'm doing green. And then we need to pair up the edges, so white, green, just like that, and then smack that in there. And now that's kind of like a 2x2x2 block. So now we just add these little F12 pairs. So this part is really fun. I love making these pairs. So I think these two pieces will end up being a pair. Nope. Okay, that was the other wing. Ah, it's right here. So it's like F12, except it's just like a tiny F12 pair. The F12 pair is like just so tiny. I think this is the other one. Yep. Put that back in there. So it's kind of roux block building, but there's like an extra column there, or you can like do a square and then another square. There's a lot of different things. But now I need to solve this other center. So I'm gonna build a bar like that, and then like that. Step 2 is to solve YDM quads. So what does YDM quads mean? Well, it's where the YD meets the M slice. So it's these four pieces and these four pieces. So we basically look at this color and see it's orange. So we're gonna build an orange center on the right side here is how I do it. Might not be the best way, but yeah. Okay, so there's the orange center. So I could put that over there temporarily, and then I can take that out, and now we can slice over, and that pairs that. And then RU to bring this quad. It's called a quad because it's like 4 pieces, I guess. And then M prime U2 M to insert the quad. So that was the front quad, and now I need to do the back quad. So I'll do a similar process. So these two are already solved, so I'll kind of just like to hide them down there, and then I can insert that, and now they're there. I can slice over, that preserves the quad, and then I can pair them up on the right side like that, and that solves that quad. And now I just insert that quad using M U2 M prime this time. And that has solved our 3x2x4 block. Step 3 is to pair 5 U/D edges and solve half centers. So the beginner's way to do this is to solve half centers first and then pair the 5 edges, but you can actually do some advanced techniques while you're making the half centers to pair the edges. So here's a half center, and they don't have to be solved in relation to each other. They just have to be blocks of 2 that are solved. That's what a half center is. So we have this red one here. So when we move these to bring these over there, we can also insert this down there. And then when we slice over, we put the half centers over here, and we pair this edge, and we actually made this other one. So that's how you do it during the half center stage. But basically what I do is I just solve these 3 half centers, and then, ooh, this is like, oh my gosh, hey, no, we don't need cats during filming. So this is one of the possible cases you can get if you're doing the half centers first. It's where you solved these 3, and then these like 2 pieces need to switch. Basically what you want to do is bring one with the same color as this over there, and then move this so that it'll pair up with that, and then bring that back. And now that's half centers all done. So just like little 2 blocks of centers, and they don't have to be solved relative to each other. And now we have to pair 4 more U/D color edges. So here's red, here's this other red. I'll just flip that, slice that, and that's solved. And then I can take I can insert this like that, and that'll pair those up. So I slice that. So I can take this out while inserting this yellow-green one to put that there, and then just slice back. And now that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's just one more, and that's going to be this yellow-orange right here. And make sure not to destroy the half centers. You don't want to do like R and then that. So you have to use like R2 or stuff like that. So it's here and here, so we have to insert that. And then, but we don't want to break this one, so I'll just put a random one in there. Slice, and then that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 U/D color edges. And then near the end of this step, could be somewhere in the middle, could be at the very end, could be at the beginning, you want to put a E-slice edges pair down here. And that sets it up nicely for the next step. So the next 3 steps are completely algorithmic, so you can be doing a few setup moves and then algorithm, 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 basically, so it could be really fast at a pro level. So step 4 is EOLE, which orients the rest of the edges while putting E-slice edges in the E-slice. So you can do this intuitively, like in beginner's method with no algorithms, or there are 24 algorithms you can use to do this in one look, and the algorithms are going to be linked in the description. They were generated by TrainGam, but we can just do this like beginner's method if you don't want to learn algs, so kind of like this. And it looks like this one is flipped, but we can actually just pretend that we need to flip like these two or something. So just like that. And then make sure the U and D edges end up in the U and D layers, just like this, so that all the E-slice edges are in the E-slice, and that is EOLE completed. You can learn the algorithms, they're linked in the description. The next step is last 6 wings. So wings are actually the real name of these like edge pieces. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left to solve. So the very advanced method would be to just look at this case and do an algorithm, but that's a lot of algs. So what TrainGam recommends is solving just one piece. So we'll solve this right down here, and it has to be this one or this one. And then you can use the algorithm set called last 5 wings. So that's only 14 algorithms, I think. Or you can go one step more beginnery and you can like pair up these edges, kind of like a domino cube, put those in, and then you're left with only last 4 wings. So here we have like a Y-perm case where you need to switch these two. So I just memorized one algorithm, and it's basically just an A-perm from a cool angle. So I think if we put that there, then do this, then it solves the wings. So if we go like that, the wings will be solved. So that's last 6 wings complete. You can either do last 6 wings, last 5 wings, last 4 wings. So yeah. All right, this is step 6, the third algorithmic step in a row. This is called last 6 corners, and this is done in 2 looks, and the recommended way is to use an algorithm set called DCAL, D-C-A-L, which stands for D layer corners after last 6 wings. So what it does is it puts these 2 corners in place using 80 algorithms, and then after that you just use CXLL, COLL, or like whatever to solve these corners and keep edge orientation. Or you can do it the Blobinati way, which is to say the very dumb beginner's way, which is to just insert these corners intuitively. And then this one, just like that. And then we'll be left with COLL. I'll use a CMLL because I'm super fancy. And there we go, last 6 corners. So there's other ways to solve this. You could orient all 6 corners and then commute all 6 corners using algorithms, but that's not very good because of the R2s needed. But yeah, after this step, you kind of want to rotate so that the block is in the back. And right here we have the final step, 5E, 5X, 5 edges, 5 centers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges to solve, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centers to solve. So this is the most unique 4x4 method I've ever seen, in my opinion. I just think this step is super, super cool, like really unique. So basically what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing M' U2 M triggers, and that serves 2 purposes. Number one, if you notice blue-orange, now it's orange-blue. So it rotates this 180 degrees, and it also cycles these three edges. So this goes there, this goes there, this goes there, I think. So we're going to be doing slices to do centers at the same time that we're going to be U-moves to solve edges. So this is just insanely unique. This is awesome. I don't know how Traingium came up with this. This is really cool. So first you want to identify if you have parity or not. I'm really bad at recognizing the L5E cases, so I just insert this, and then this is parity because it's an O perm, kind of. It's like this, or it's not an O perm, but it's like not a Z perm, not an H perm. This is parity. And the really nice thing about this is that the parity algorithm gets to be one move shorter, which is pretty cool because we don't have to care about these centers. The parity algorithm is R2, wide U2, R2, wide U2, R2. And that fixes parity. As you see, now we have a Z perm. Then I'm just gonna undo that because pretend that I know how to recognize these cases. Okay, after you solve the parity, you want to use the map or like the solving table as well as centers to solve everything. So down here we have orange. So when we do the algorithm, orange will go here and that will solve that. So that's our first case that we set up. And then we look at this and we don't have any opposite edges, so I believe this is, which is OA perm, so we hold it like this, then we do the algorithm, so it solves this center, and it brings us towards the next case, and that brings us to the QB perm, and for the QB perm, we have to hold it like this, so we're recognizing this case is a QB perm, we have to hold it like this, and then we have blue here, so we'll have to put it here, so it'll cycle this, and it'll bring us to the next case, which solved the center, and now that brought us to the WA perm. So WA perm has two opposite edges here and here. Oh wait, that's WB, oops. Two opposite edges, that's how you recognize the W perms. And now this red, we need to bring that red there so that it goes there. Do the trigger, and that solved that center, and it brought us to the next case, which is the last case, which is I. So this is the I perm. So we want to hold the I perm here, and that'll like solve that. And then first, this is green, so we bring the green over, and then cycle this, and it solves that. So that is really, really, really cool. I love the ending of that step. So the worst case you can get is an H perm, which requires 6 of the triggers to solve. The H perm leads to the D perm, leads to the P, leads to U, leads to W, then finally I, then finally solved. So if you get an H perm, that's like really unlucky, really bad case. But yeah, so you don't even have to memorize algorithms for that last part. It's just the same algorithm. You just have to know how to hold every case. Now let's go over some more advanced stuff about this method. So the last step, 5e5x, has some additional helpful triggers, cases, algs. So H perm is like the worst case, and you can get H perm and a bunch of mixed up centers. You can use like H perm alg like this. There's some additional cool algs like that to do like U perms and adjacent swaps, so those might be helpful. So very beginner Triforce only requires 12 algorithms. There's no algorithms for EOLE because you can do that intuitively, like orient edges intuitively. 2 algorithms for last 6 wings, the one where it's like a adjacent swap and one where it's an opposite swap after solving these 2, and you're left with last 4 wings. And you can do decal intuitively when you're inserting these 2 corners. You can just kind of do F2L or pseudo F2L or domino cube algorithms or whatever. And then for CLL, you do need 9 algs for the to look, orient, then permute. And then 5e5x, you only need 1 alg because this is like hardly an alg, it's only 3 moves. So that's a total of 12 algorithms for very beginner Triforce, all the way to full advanced Triforce, which is 174 algorithms, 24 algorithms for full EOLE, 14 algs for last 5 wings, 80 algs for decal, 42 COLL algorithms, and the 14 advanced 5e5x triggers leaves a total of 174 algorithms. So this can get pretty advanced. The pros of this method, if you didn't notice already, was that there's no OLL parity. So this OLL parity doesn't happen. Like it avoids OLL parity, so that's already like a gain of 10 moves over Yao. Now, some cons of this method is the 1x2x4 block step can be difficult at first for beginners, but obviously you'll get used to it if you switch to this method. And it's hard to plan the 1x2x4 block and 2 centers in inspection. That's a lot of pieces to look for in only 15 seconds. And that is pretty much the Triforce method. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I think this method is awesome, so good job to Trangium for winning the competition with this super unique method. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you'll try out this method. It's pretty cool. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment too. Okay, see you guys in the next video.